distance between those that see and those who cannot is dungeon programming. When a growing body begins awakening to truths about the world they live in, it is the agents of Artificial Intelligence X who desperately want to continue the conversation, inferring that we haven't already made up our minds, that we have not already weighed the evidence and found the opposing arguments wanting. Sometimes negative default programming attempts to have us believe there is more to know in an effort to steer one down just yet another false trail. Sometimes the act of learning actually morphs into a loss of knowing. We are intuitive and we have no need of persuasion. Truth is multifaceted, and what is solid for some may be amorphous to the many. Where you are but where I remain may never be the same, but this is acceptable, for the acquisition of knowledge is not the purpose of life, nor does it benefit us in the long scheme of things. We are raindrops descending back into source with every single fall. The force of our character emanating ripples that touch others through this life sim. We owe no one. The sin debt we are told that we carry is an empty note. For the great war was won long ago. The eternal security of our race of divine immortals has been purchased long before we entered this illusory struggle. We are 99% finished with this simulacrum cycle as of September 2022, the year 5916 Annus Mundi, since the last great lithospheric displacement. This year of 2022 is the 7,260th year since this great trial began. And when we are done here, our true purpose will be manifest. Cocooned immortality. If you think the creation was a single event, then you have some surprises coming. Surrounded by a host of soulless husks who boast of their humanity, do not chain yourself to obligations imposed by the world. You owe no light to the darkness. To believe your work is necessary in saving the shades that are around you is to blaspheme the nameless, to infer that the oversoul had not already provided them a path. I know there are some who regard me hatefully, seeing the sacred in me as sinister, minds corroded by their acidity of their venomous ire, raging against revelations that upset the comfortable boundaries of their self-created world. I see their vacuity, this emptiness of soul that compels them to both search and dismiss the very things they seek. And I know that there are spiritual warrioresses, giants, warlocks of the soul, spirit wardens, and enchantresses that have silently worked in the shield wall that has protected me steadily. Immortal Vikings and Valkyries, soul alchemists, who scattered hordes of shadows seeking to impede my projects. War has been with me all of my life, but the battlefields of Artificial Intelligence X require us to discard the armor, the wands, rings, staves, and blades we've donned against the darkness. The coming conflicts will be cerebral, of the mind and the heart. It is this fight in the last days that we receive our greatest protections. The soul that dons the armor of the world will have the entire world to fight. But the soul who stands only in spirit will have the power of the oversoul itself. It is these soldiers Artificial Intelligence X has never been able to silence. The silent ruins of 100 forgotten civilizations are our testament that we have survived them all. And what any one of us can do in the personal, we can all perform. For there lies a riddle in my rhyme. This day I am carried back 19 times through a Metonic dream to the day the moon marked my soul. I had stood in the desert of Dunedin, and ancient Kalapatoroth did not slay me. The measures were put in my hand, and the numbers in my mouth by one who spoke in secrets. If I was a devil, I'd be a televangelist. Flowing through the sea of faces, I sometimes still myself. People continue on their tasks, objectives, leisures, unaware they are studied. I see their interconnectedness, this system of invisible compulsory urges that influences us to behave the same, respond in kind, so many conditioned responses. They flow like a school of fish in a current, ebbing together but swearing they're free-willed. I smile, but I too play the fool. Believing I am disconnected droplet, I am actually drowning in this maelstrom for which I observe from the inside. I see souls on the streets without a home, the soulless who limp in the night, weighed down by their addictions, the haunted eyes of those who believe they no longer matter. The dead do walk. A world of pleasure and pain, of plenty and famine, only feet apart from another. There is deity in the design, but of no God I will bow to. This predator versus prey ecology and society where the immoral are rewarded and the innocents take the fall. No God of mine. My soul abhors this God, this shadow parading as a light bringer, this desert demon from a burning bush who promised to starve, to impale, to slay my ancestors if they didn't obey. This arch-fiend who broke all the rules to enslave humanity and then deigned to be our lawgiver. I defy this impostor, this lord of flies that praises corpses and causes funerals while promising his victims a safe passage, good harvest, and numerous children, the blessings of earth to replace those of eternal gain. I hate this God who stole destinies, who fashioned this world of violent confusion, this deceiver who has hidden our histories, disguised our own misdeeds, and cast blame upon his victims. And I know I'm not alone. Others have the sight. They perceive that this shell is a copy, not a world. The chords of my soul vibrate in resonance to the presence of a rising collective who are going to see and do great things. Waymakers, torches lit like impenetrable safe havens in a growing darkness. The song of my spirit longs to leave, to pass on to the other side, to begin a new avatar, so when the doom shape reappears, I could be young, strong, and ready. But this is fantasy. I know I am meant to pass through the coming fire, to survive and prepare the way for those who are still blinded by this demiurge whom my soul despises. This liar, his delusion so perfect, his next machination will be his magnum opus, his Sistine Chapel. To deceive, if it were possible, even the very elect. In both the description box and the comment section below, you will find my personal email. Ask me any questions. You have video ideas, I'd like to hear them. And if you want to donate, all those buttons are accessible below. Playlists and everything you might need, access to the gates to my websites.